What's going on, Whalers fam? We are in a brand new type of video today. As you can tell, the summer schedule is complete. There's no other bowling series to film because it's all meetings for like a good bit of time. So at the time I'm recording this, I will have bowled my first Wednesday night mixed ball season series. So that video will be coming out a little bit later after this one because I'm going to do a bowling bag video so you guys can see what I have in my bowling bag, and if you are interested in any of it, you can add it to your own if you feel it interesting. So we'll do that in the next video, but to stay on track with this video today, we are going to cover my bowling year pretty much in about maybe 20 minutes or so. I don't know, it depends how long I go on and talk for. I'm going to show some graphics and some of the gameplay you saw this summer as well to complement this video. So you'll see that, and then you'll see some graphics and stuff throughout the whole video to pretty much make this as good as I can make it. So the start of the bowling year, I'm going to start out by showing you my TGIF Friday bowling stats from the year. So we entered the season at 134 in book average, which obviously by looking at it at first is like absolutely insane. You also have to remember, I didn't really show you guys like going from the first week to like maybe what, 18. I did stream them, but over time some are not available anymore and some are. It's just because when I started doing this, the live part of it, it was like when I was using my Facebook whale fan page. But I think I still did move the lives to YouTube and probably did like weeks. I think I stopped at 20 because of the quality, and had to move to highlights and full series videos that were recorded like as clean as possible without the ability to go live. So that's basically why a good chunk of this is missing. But yeah, so we quickly, after the first 3 weeks, moved up to the 140s, and we kind of started finding ways to get better scores realistically when we were as low as we were. It is easier to break average when it's lower, so that's why you're going to see the average percentage at the bottom being over 70%, which is probably really, really good in hindsight. Going through like 105 games total. I was absent for one of the weeks because I was too sick to bowl on the Friday one, so I think I was just blind that week. I don't remember. Pretty sure I was. When that league came out, but that video is non-existent for it. But we do have some great things because we started getting into the 200s again. Our first 200 came in the Friday Friday Summer League prior to this one, which was a 203. So going into these fall leagues, we needed more 200, you know. And we found our first 200 game of the season after week 13, which came in game 1. And then after that, as more time went on, one would come up again, and then the other. And then in the back half of the year, in this Friday screenshot that you're seeing, we eventually had a record of 254, which that I pulled with my Rhino, I'm pretty sure. Because I didn't get my Rhino until late in the year. Like, I just randomly decided, you know what, hey, let's go drill up a spare ball, which the viewer told me I should do, and I did. And then I also got the Rhino drilled up at the same time. So both of those bowling balls were pretty much those are my two newest ones at this exact moment. But starting the league year, we were working with my radioactive vibe that I got in the summer from, not this summer, but last summer when it came out. And then I also had my Brunswick Quantum Evo, which is a bit heavier of a ball, also asymmetrical. And then we had my only symmetrical ball at the time before the radioactive vibe, the Columbia 300 Beast, which is a bit dry. It's a medium dry bowling ball. So that's pretty much what I was working with going into the start of these league seasons. So I only had like a 3-ball arsenal, and that was about it. But once we got into later in the these league years, like around like I think it was like 27, 28-ish, somewhere around there, I introduced the Rhino to my arsenal, and then eventually the spare ball would follow with that. So there was a lot of good adding the spare ball to it, because we did get better scores with it, and we're not as bad as we could be when we were bowling without it, because we were missing more 10 pins without it. I mean, we've cleaned our game up a bit better with that spare ball, but I mean, there's obviously still work to be done there. So yeah, a lot of highlights. And then we also had our best series in the Friday League in about, I think it was week 27. That was my highest, with the 223, 215, 180 across the board. That was probably my best series in general. Although my week 35 one in the Friday League is a slight second place competitor, if not probably taking it over by just a smidge, maybe. I don't know, it depends, but assuming the mathematics is about accurate there. Let's move into the Wednesday night fall league discussion now. As you can see though, my exiting average after all this is right in the mid 160s, 163, 164. So at that point in the year, we will have gained about 30 pins on average. So that's how much we improved throughout the 36-week season. Arguably, it is one of the higher, most improved players, I would say, if they did it, a thing like that here, but they don't recognize most improved players throughout a year. Wednesday night league, we come in at a 139 average, so we're 5 pins higher than Friday's starting average. But there's a difference here where we're not really averaging 140s at all. We're going right into the upper 150s, and then right around December we were mid 150s, 155, 156, that type of thing. But once we get out of the holiday season, we get a bit better. And we eventually come home finishing 162, but something to note here is that I have bowled a bit more 200s. There's more 200s in these strings of games as well. And we're also above average here by almost over 60%. We were pretty close. And I didn't miss a single week of Wednesday Night Mixed, despite me being out of one of the Friday videos. So also feel free to go back and pause the video to take a look at my scores throughout the entire season. I do keep track of them on just something as simple as Google Sheets, but it also gives you like a grand scheme of where I stand as an amateur league bowler in these videos that I create. Not everything's going to be perfect, but I do try to make the content as good as I can at the amateur level that I am in league bowling. So I hope you guys enjoyed it throughout the summer schedule and all my videos ever since I went into that full series highlights scheme of things. So that's all I gotta say. I did end Wednesday Night Mixed on a really positive note. Same with the Friday one. Those are probably some of my best bowling as well to talk about in week 36 of both of those seasons, having a couple 200s in the Wednesday one, but that was really cool. My Wednesday highest is 233, and I did that with the Radioactive Vibe way back. I don't know if I made that one a video or not. I don't think I did, because that was right around the week 20 was probably right around that period where I had just started doing highlight videos and then showing the full on a couple of them, and then eventually now we have this layout of video publishing. So that'll make it a bit easier to think about going forward, I guess, with the content. I think we're in a really great place, but I'll talk about the state of my content in general. So it'll be like YouTube, TikTok. I'll talk a little bit about those platforms. I'm going to do that in a totally separate video down the road. We'll talk about the state of the channel specifically. I don't really want to cover that in this video because this is more of a bowling video, and we're talking about how I've managed to improve throughout a whole bowling year. You also have to remember a bowling year is from, or in the league bowling terms anyway, I guess is the better way to put it, is it runs from August to August. It's not like a calendar year where you go from January to December and that's your year. Well, in league bowling, because you have to re-up sanction cards, and the price tag, it depends on where you are. For where I am, it's $25 for a sanction card, and I think an additional $10 if you come in from a different county here in Florida. What I was gonna say, I kind of forgot here. But yeah, with it running August to August, I'm covering what we just talked about, and then we're going to go into the summer categories right now. So the summer schedule, I had originally started as 3 leagues. We did Monday Night Trios with TJ and Raphael. We also had Mark, TJ, and another bowler. I'm not going to reference their name in the sake of this video because they weren't in a lot of the content at all, so I didn't show them. And that was a 12-week Wednesday night league that I did with Mark and TJ. I think a lot of you guys like watching Mark. He has a unique release, I guess. He kind of bounces off of 1 foot after throwing the ball. I don't know. Anyways, I think a lot of you guys enjoyed all that content. And then my Friday, I did a little bit of Friday content, but I withdrew after week 6. One of the reasons why was because I wanted to get into the Tampa Bowlers Tour, and I think I quickly learned after that series of week 6 where I bowled bad that I don't really need that league, considering it would be best to bowl in tournaments, because we had the Cool Wick one that we did, or that we kept doing, and then TBT was the talk of it, which is Tampa Bowlers Tour, and I was like, well, you know, this kind of sounds cool. It's something different. It was worth a try to put out for content on the channel, and we went for it. And I actually liked the Tampa Bowlers Tour a lot. I enjoyed my first time. I mean, it was nice having people on the pair I knew, which probably made that experience a lot easier at first. But I feel like tournaments should be more of my focus in the summer going forward, and I think that's the angle I'm going to approach summer bowling with going forward. But a lot of the summer content you guys saw, there was a lot going on. Like, we had a lot of prep for tournaments. We had a lot of, we just had to grind out a bunch of league nights in general. We were bowling so much in the summer that it did help us too. And I'll explain that now. We'll go into the TGIF Friday summer stats, which is only 6 weeks that I had done. I only played half of the schedule, and I was above average 55% of the time, which is still pretty good. It's not terrible, but pretty good. And we started out really good out of the gate too, and we had those 200 games and a bunch of these, and a good chunk of these, but we also had a couple low games late in the Friday schedule. Obviously, though, we have to bowl a higher average because we were at 188 at one point, which was awesome. We got to feel what that was like for a minute, and then we kind of dipped down to that 180 category. So once we kind of sat there, and then I had arguably the worst night in a while, and I just withdrew. But it also allowed me to do Tampa Bowlers Tour, which had I not dropped out, I would have had to finish the Friday season. But I ended up dropping out for the better. We actually did pretty good on that Tampa Bowlers Tour, where we were almost able to cash, which would have been sweet. But then again, we're not really expected to cash in tournaments at this current moment. But if we can get close, it just makes it better, which ended up being the case in the TBT. So yeah, that's kind of part of the reason why I dropped out of the Friday win, plus it was more of a distraction considering I was bowling already in 2 other leagues that at the time were looking better in scoring wise. So let's move into Wednesday Night Mix now and talk a little bit about that. This was the highest placed team in the summer lineup. We finished 2nd place, and it was nice. I mean, we were pretty good. A lot of my game ones, I was only under average twice, which is unique. Unique fact. Actually, my worst game was probably that 159 in week 11. Other than that, everything is over 180, surprisingly, which is a cool stat to look at. Game 2s were our shakiest, and then game 3s were kind of blah. But we were also 58% above average, which is really nice. that means we're capable of doing it on a regular basis. We never had like a night where I was just under average in all three, so that's really cool to see. High game was 230. I'm pretty sure I bowled that one. I think, yeah, that was my beast. My highest game on the beast is a 230. That one was, I think week 10 we bowled. Yeah, that was I think that one was like crazy. That was a crazy matchup that we had because last minute subs kind of changed it up a little bit. Not in a bad way though. But yeah, that was a good league bowling night. Week 10 was probably my best work. And then week 2 was a really consistent series as well. I was a fan of that. So yeah, the more I look at this, like the more like we had a lot of good games in this league too. A lot of good 200s, which shows that we're improving. We're continuing to work toward that level of improvement that I think a lot of you are appreciative in seeing. Let's move into the Monday Night Trio stats. We finished 6th in Monday Night Trios. Our averages, also to mention, our exit averages in both these leagues are 181, so we're fairly consistent throughout two leagues, so to speak. At one point in the Monday League, though, we had a 191 average because I bowled so good in the first week, it wasn't even funny. But it's nice to start out with that 200 game, so shout out to that. A lot of 204. Every time I get a 200, it's always like 204. So I don't know if it's like one of those lucky things or not, but they're there. I've only had like one really awful week of Monday Night Trios, and that was in week 6. We did lose a week of Monday Trios, that's why it's 11, because of that Memorial Day that we lost during this summer. So that was a bummer. I wish we could have got an extra week because we probably could have finished 3rd or 4th or whatever, but gotta settle for what it is. But yeah, that last week of bowling, I played really good too. That was like consistent. 192, 183, 189. So a lot of improvement is mentioned throughout these graphics that I'm talking about so far in the video. A lot of the summer lineup, I just rotated bowling balls throughout the summer, and whatever one had the best look for me is what I threw. So it was like between my Radioactive Vibe, the Rhino, and my Beast, which is amazing, by the way, that we accomplished having the Beast have high games this summer as well. Because going into the summer, I never had a high game on that Beast that was over 200 pins, but now it's at 230, and all 4 bowling balls now have games over 230 on them. I think my Quantum Evo his record was achieved in the Tampa Bowlers Tour video. I don't remember, but I think that was the one that it was in, because I don't think that was in League, but I still count it as a high game of over 230 because it's in a tournament that I personally feel is a really great tournament for me to be in, and it holds a lot of value, and there was a lot of good competition out there, in my opinion. Other people will probably say different, but that's their opinion. Going into the end of my summer discussion, we got better, and we improved from 164 to 181, which is a gain of 17 more pins. So overall, we gained 47 pins over an entire league bowling season, which is absolutely insane, because usually it's not normal for someone to increase that much unless they find ways to make the gameplay better, and that's exactly what I did, and I'm kind of proud of myself for it. I don't think I'll ever have a season again where I'll just normally gain 47 pins like that, but now that we're a little higher up, you should start seeing a little bit more improvement before, like, you know, the game's in a relatively good place. But going into the fall, though, I'm pretty happy with where the averages sit. Our fall exiting averages are going to be what we enter this fall season's videos with. So we ended with 164. We're going to go into the fall with 164, 163, 163. Same old. You guys get the picture now. But yeah, let's talk about what's next for bowling content specifically. Tournaments, we're gonna keep doing Coolwick. We're gonna definitely keep doing Tampa Bowlers Tour. I like that one a lot. It's a favorite for me. And we're also gonna do Turtles every chance we get. I am working on, for Turtles, the 9-pin no tap. It's gonna be in Clearwater, Florida. So I am working on getting my own group of 4 for that, which is almost finalized. It's just a matter of us filling out the paper and all that stuff, the fun stuff. unfortunately. But yeah, so I'm gonna hopefully make that one better than what I just pushed out because that's not my best Turtles quality content because I lost the game 3 footage, which had like a normal 5 in a row run going, where I didn't even need the 9 pin no tap strike, which is so cool. But it's okay that I don't have that one. Another thing I am also going to talk about really quickly to cap off my year in review video is talk about if I could add a new ball, what would it be? And honestly, I've been thinking about it because I don't want to go to something like I like the Rattler big bite video that I saw from Brunsnick. I like that a lot, and I think it would be the best to choose for how our lanes are, which typically end up dry. But I also kind of like that mesmerize from Brunswick specifically, and it's another ASIN ball, but it would be cool to move that one up to 15 pounds because I bowl on 14 pounds right now, and I feel like I might be better off going to 15. So that's kind of what I'm feeling like doing is moving up to a 15-pound ball and seeing where my average would sit after that. But I probably won't do any ball upgrades until later because right now we're just sticking with what we got for a bit. But if I could add a ball, it'd be the Brunswick Mesmerized or the Big Bite. If I'm just so paranoid to the point that I want to stay in the dry bowling ball um, end of things. But I think it would be good to have a second ASIN right next to my Evo, which is also 14 pounds. But I do want to try 15 here pretty soon and see if that would be a much better option for me and also get a much better fit into the bowling ball as well. I think that is super important. I want to make sure I'm going to remeasure my hand and when I get another bowling ball soon because these bowling balls that I have now all are on older measurements. Like they're the same coordinates as my Beast, which I bought right before the pandemic ended, which is probably like what 2021 maybe. So I've had that ball for a while, just sitting around. But once I started bowling leagues in what I think like summer 2022, that's when I really kind of got things rolling. So technically, my measurements are all like at this point they're like 3 years old, which is probably bad. But whenever I get a new ball, I'm probably more than likely gonna remeasure my hand, make sure everything fits perfectly, and you know, then when things fit to your specs, that's the better way to bowl. But I would say for right now, I think everything's in an okay place, and I'm just gonna keep that going for right now. I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to my video. Hopefully, I cover enough footage for this 23-minute ramble. I was gonna say 20 minutes, but actually went on for a while. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this part completely unedited, so that way you can kind of see how like I literally just go on and talk about how the season went, and you kind of listen to my thoughts for what they are, as opposed to me editing those out. I used to do content like this, where I would just sit here and talk and then edit out certain pieces, but I think for this, I'm just gonna leave it completely as you see it, so that way it kind of seems like it comes off a bit more, I don't know, genuine maybe? I don't know. Either way, though, I appreciate everyone for taking the time out of their day to listen to me talk about my bowling year in review. Feel free to talk about your bowling year if you league bowl in the comments, or if you just happen to go out bowling one time and you had a good night. Feel free to share that in the comments as well to let me know. Appreciate y'all for watching. Feel free to tune into my shorts. I do try to post every day, twice a day, just to keep the content coming to the channel. And if you're really liking what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. We're almost to 450 subscribers here on YouTube, which is incredible. I plan to have 1K subscribers by the end of this League Bowling fall schedule, so I really hope we can get there. And by fall schedule, I mean from now until the 36 weeks ends. So until then, my next video, which is my bowling bag video, I will catch you all soon. Take care, Railers fam.